Good morning, everyone. Myself, Juli Yadav, Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering College, Akgec. Today's topic of presentation is knowledge representation in artificial intelligence. Firstly, I want to tell you why there is a need of knowledge representation. As we know, we want the smart systems as intelligent as the humans are. So, how they behave intelligently. So to perform or to make them intelligent as the humans are, we need to represent the knowledge in the knowledge base. Through the knowledge base, we can represent the knowledge of the entire world by using the knowledge representation. So let us have a look. What do you mean by knowledge representation? So humans, as we know that humans are the best at understanding the things, providing the reasons, and they are having the capability of interpreting that knowledge into some conclusion. So if the humans have that kind of capability, then how we can provide or how we can make or give the same capability to the artificial object that we want to make as intelligent system as the humans are. So as the humans know things, why the humans are able to perform these kinds of operations like reasoning, providing conclusion, making decisions, this can be only possible because the humans have the knowledge, they have the things. So when the humans know the things and they have the knowledge, as per their knowledge they can perform various kinds of actions that are related to the real world. But how the machines can perform these operations or these decisions, how a machine can take the decisions as the humans can, this can only be done by using the knowledge representation and reasoning. So here are some definitions of knowledge representation, like a knowledge representation and reasoning. Knowledge representation and reasoning is a part of artificial intelligence which concerned with AI agent that can have the capability of thinking and how thinking contribute to intelligent behavior of an agent. So these are responsible for representing the information about the real world so that the computers can understand, can utilize the knowledge to solve various complex real world problems, or these knowledge representations can make the artificial object as intelligent as the humans are by taking as an input to the various real life problems that the humans are facing or that the normal persons are facing, so that such problems can have the solution and can also diagnose a medicine condition if we are communicating it with humans in a natural way. So basically, when we are providing the knowledge as the humans have, we need a knowledge representation. So knowledge representation can be done through various methods. There are various techniques of knowledge representation which I will cover in the coming lecture. So it is a way by which we can represent knowledge in artificial intelligence, which is just storing the data in some kind of database which can enable it while there is a need of it. So the intelligent machine have the capability to learn from that knowledge and can create their own knowledge on the basis of those experiences and on the basis of those behaviors. So here are the different kinds of knowledge which need to be represented in AI system. These are the main components, these are the main factors that are needed for the knowledge representation in any kind of the system. Like, we need to represent the knowledge in the forms of object. We need to represent it in the forms of object. Let us have a look what the objects are. So objects are all the facts about the object in our own world domain. Like, for example, if we are talking about a guitar, then we need to describe everything about the guitar. So guitar is a object to which we are providing the knowledge. So if we are talking about guitar, what kinds of things, what are the what a guitar is, we need to specify everything about the guitar, like it contains string, trumpets and brass instrument. We need to specify each and everything about that object. So these are the objects. Then events are basically the actions that needs to be performed in the real world. Like for example, guitar, we have taken an example of guitar. What is the use of guitar? We need to specify that in the events. So events are basically the actions that which occurs in our world. Now performance means how an intelligent or how an artificial intelligent object is performing. This can only describe how it uses the knowledge from the knowledge base. So performance is basically, it describes the behavior which involves knowledge about how to do the things. Like if we are talking about guitar, then how we can define its performance, like what is the behavior, why we are using guitar. And if we are talking about guitar, then how we can use it, means how we can play, how we can as this is an instrument, musical instrument, how we can perform or how we can play with this instrument. We need to specify that thing in the area of performance. Then coming to the next object or coming to the next representation of AI system is the meta knowledge. Meta knowledge is a kind of knowledge that is knowledge about knowledge. It is a knowledge about what we know. Whatever the knowledge we have, we need to specify that knowledge to our knowledge base. Then the facts. The facts are generally the truth about the real world that we are going to represent while we are representing a knowledge in an artificial object. And then lastly is the knowledge base. Knowledge base are the central components of the knowledge based on the agent in the knowledge base. It is represented as KB. The knowledge is a group of sentences used as a technical term and not identical with the English. So basically the knowledge base is the base that we are using to represent the knowledge of the entire world using the knowledge base. Knowledge base is used to represent the knowledge in an artificial object. Now here are some of the different kinds of knowledge that we need or we can define while we are designing a knowledge representation. So knowledge is kind of awareness or familiarity gained by experience or fact, data and any kind of situation that we are facing. So there are basically the 5 kinds of knowledge, that is declarative knowledge, heuristic knowledge, meta knowledge, structural knowledge and procedural knowledge. Let's have an overview of these knowledge. The structural knowledge tells us about the relationship between the concept and the object, means we are representing this knowledge in the form of a tabular form, and it tells us that what is the relation between the objects that we are designing or whatever the objects we are using to make the artificial object as intelligent as the humans are. So when we are representing that, then we call it as the structural knowledge. Declarative knowledge, this is the knowledge about the facts that are related to any object. Like for example, what are the facts related to a guitar? Whatever the facts that are related to the guitar, if we are representing that, then we need to use the declarative knowledge. Then heuristic knowledge. Heuristic knowledge is like you are already having the knowledge, and you using that knowledge, you are creating your own knowledge. That is the rule of thumb knowledge. If we want such kinds of knowledge, we need to use the heuristic knowledge. Then another one is procedural knowledge. Procedural knowledge is basically a knowledge that we are using when we are using production rule. Like for example, let us take an example. If the temperature of room is above 35, then what actions need to be? If temperature is this, then what actions need to be taken? So these kinds of knowledge can be representing using the procedural knowledge. And the lastly is the meta knowledge. This is knowledge about knowledge, means whatever the knowledge we have embedded in the knowledge base, how that knowledge can be used to create another knowledge. These types of knowledge can be representing using a meta knowledge. Now let's have a overview of all the different knowledge. Like declarative knowledge is to know about something, means it is the description. Basically it is a description about any object that can include any type of concept, facts, or any other object that we are using while we are creating an artificial object. It is also a kind of descriptive knowledge that can be expressed in declarative sentences too. This knowledge is little bit simpler than the procedural knowledge. Now let's have a look of procedural knowledge. The another name for the procedural knowledge is imperative knowledge. It is a type of knowledge which is responsible for knowing the how to do something. Means if we are if we are walking, then how can we initiate walking? First of all, we need to put either the left or the right leg up, then we need to keep that down, then again we need to put the another leg up, then we need to put that down. In the same way, the procedure that define how the things goes on, that knowledge can be represented using a procedural knowledge. So these can be directly applied to any task. As we know, everything has a procedure. Every concept or everything that we need to explain, that should have a procedure. So this type of knowledge can be applied to perform any task. It can include various strategies, various rules and agendas that we want to embed. This can be done through the procedural knowledge, and procedural knowledge depends on the task that we are performing or that we can apply. This defines basically the task that we are trying to perform or that we are trying to apply. Another knowledge is knowledge meta knowledge. This is a kind of knowledge that we are using about the other type of knowledge. Like meta knowledge is if we are using this knowledge, procedural knowledge, in representing another kind of knowledge, then we call it as the meta knowledge. Now the heuristic knowledge is representing the knowledge in some expert, like in the field of in any field or in any subject, right? Like for example, as we know that every teacher is expert in any of the particular subject, then we can say if we are representing that teacher or we are representing that person, then we need to represent it using the heuristic knowledge. Now the heuristic knowledge is rule of thumb based on previous experiences or on the basis of approaches that we are making ourselves aware, and whatever the good things that work but cannot guaranteed, whatever the things that are going on, that are performing, but there is no guarantee of their output to be as same as we are thinking. Now the last knowledge is the structural knowledge. Structural knowledge is the basic knowledge of all the knowledges. Whatever the knowledge that we are using to represent the knowledge, that can be represented using a structural knowledge. That is the base, basically the base of solving any kind of any problem, whether it is a simple or the complex problem. We can represent that problem using the structural knowledge. It can also describe or it can also define relation between various concepts like kind of, part of, or group of. Like if we are talking about faculties, then some faculties are belong to a particular group like CSC branch or EC branch. This kind of if we are describing these or we are telling the relation between various concepts, then we are using the structural knowledge. It also needs to describe the relationship that exists between the concept or the object. So these are the various kinds of knowledge that we are using to represent the knowledge in the knowledge base. So here is a relation between knowledge and intelligence, like how the knowledge is converted into an intelligence. Here is the relation. First of all, what we need to do, we need to, or the artificial object that we have created or that we have created for some particular task, it has the ability of sensing. Whatever it sense, whatever it feels, sense, it take it as the input in its memory, take it as an input. The sensors, the sensing of any artificial object can be done through the sensors. Whatever it sends, it directly goes to its memory, where we have stored multiple knowledge or multiple parts of the knowledge in the knowledge base. Means this decision maker is the knowledge base where we have stored all kinds of knowledge about the real world. Then when it sends, now using any of the knowledge type, it can use, or whatever the knowledge it has, by using both the things, whatever it sends or whatever the knowledge it has in its knowledge base, using those both the things, it can perform the action. Like for example, if I am a human, I have the memory and I have the sensing parts also. Like for example, I have eyes, I can see something is wrong there. Then using my knowledge, if this is the condition, what action should I take? Then using both the things, sensing and the knowledge in my knowledge base or knowledge in my memory, I can perform the action. So this is the relation between the knowledge and the intelligence that we have generated, or that is the decision maker. So knowledge of the real world plays a vital role in the intelligence, and same for the artificial intelligence, as it has a vital role in performing all the tasks, or it has the vital role in performing whatever the actions need to be taken. So the agent is the only way by which we can able to act, or we can have some input. On the basis of those inputs and on the basis of the knowledge, the act or the object can perform the actions on the basis of the inputs. So here is the AI knowledge cycle. The knowledge cycle is like as what perception is same as sensing, right? Whatever it percept, whatever the object, artificial object using the sensor percepts from the environment, whatever the things that we are percepting, that we are sensing, can be done through the environment only. Whatever it percept, using the knowledge representation, where we have represented the knowledge in the knowledge base about the real world, and if we are having some more experience or some kind of learning except these knowledge bases, then we have to use that learning also to give some kind of reasoning. If we are performing any action or if we are giving any reasons, then that reason should also stored in the knowledge base, and on the basis of that reasoning we are planning what actions I can perform. Then we need to execute those actions. So it is a procedure in which whatever we are perceiving or whatever the object is perceived from the environment, and using the knowledge in its knowledge base plus whatever it learns from its past experience, using both the things, it can conclude or it can generate some another solution, or it can make a decision, right, or can reason any particular problem, and that reason need to be stored in the knowledge base too. And on the basis of that reasoning, it can plan what actions need to be taken, and after planning it can execute the action that needs to be efficient, that needs to be fulfillment. Then here are some simple approaches by which we can represent the knowledge in the knowledge base. Here are, I think, 4 or 5 ways of representation. Few of them I will cover in today's lecture. Like first representation or first approach is the simple relational knowledge. Simple relational knowledge. Let's have an overview. When we are representing the knowledge by using a tables as we are representing in database, then that representation that contains various relations between different entities stored in the table, then it shows the simple relational as the database relation system has. We are representing the knowledge in the tables and using that knowledge, and as well as using those relations to conclude or to provide some kind of solution. So basically a simple relational knowledge is same as the database. So it is one of the simplest way of storing any kind of fact, any kind of relation, which uses the relational method as well as each fact about a set of object is set out systematically in a column. Like here you can see, here is three columns are here. First one is player, that tells us about different kinds of players like player 1, player 2, player 3. Next is about their weight, like player 1 has weight 65, player 2 has 58, and in the same way we are having another column that contains the age. This represents that player 1 has player 1's weight is 65 and its age is 23. So this is like a systematic, the relation between, like what is the relation of player and 65? 65 is the weight of player 1. This shows the relation. So this basically this approach of knowledge representation is famously used in database system, where the relation between different entities are representing as we have represented here. So this approach has little opportunity of inference, not all. Another approach is inheritable knowledge approach. This inheritable knowledge approach, let's explain it. Like there is a inheritance in the family also. Like as a child, I am the features as my father have. So inheriting those features and embedded them in itself is an example of inheritable approach or inheritable knowledge approach. So in the inheritable knowledge approach, all the data must be stored into a hierarchy, like first class, second class, third class. In a hierarchical form, we are representing the data. All classes should be arranged in a generalized form or a hierarchical manner. This approach we are applying inheritance property. Elements inherit values from other members of a class. This contains inheritable knowledge which shows a relation between instance and class, as it is the instance relation. So every individual frame can be representing using the collection of attributes and their associated value. In this approach, objects and values are represented in boxed node, and we use arrows which points from objects to its values. So let's have a example. Here it shows an example of a inheritable approach. Here there is here is a box node. We are using box node to represent the value, or to represent the object we use a box node. This is then object, and arrow shows the relation, like cricket. Peter is a person, that is an instance of cricket, means Peter is a player. Peter is a cricket player which is a adult male, whereas Ankit is a football player which is also an adult male. So this kind of knowledge representation can be done using another approach, that is the inheritance approach of knowledge representation. There are few more approaches which I will cover in the coming lecture. Thank you so much.